It's important to know the proper procedures to follow because fire is fast, blazing fast. In less than 30 seconds, a small flame can grow into a major fire. And guess what? That's not the time to start learning where the exit is. So crank your AC to high because things are going to get hot. How does a fire start anyway? For a fire to occur, 3 elements are necessary. First, a fuel source. Fire needs something to burn, such as a solid, liquid, or gas. Second, an adequate oxygen supply. There needs to be a sufficient supply of oxygen to keep a fire burning. And third, heat or an ignition source, something to start the fire. When all 3 elements are present, they cause a chain reaction, which results in combustion, or otherwise known as fire. These can be remembered as the fire triangle. Not all fires are the same. In fact, there are 5 classes of fire, and each requires a specific extinguisher. Before using an extinguisher, be sure to take note of the classification on the label. Using the wrong type of extinguisher can be life-threatening. Portable fire extinguishers are extremely handy, but they should only be used against fires at their initial stages. Once the fire starts to grow, it's best to evacuate the building. Extinguishers should never be viewed as substitutes, but rather as complements to automatic fire detection and suppression systems, such as fire alarm systems, smoke and heat detectors, and fire sprinklers. Okay, so let's check out each class of fire and which extinguisher to use. A Class A fire consists of ordinary combustibles. A Class A fire extinguisher contains water to remove the heat from the fire by cooling it. A Class B fire occurs when flammable or combustible liquids ignite. A Class B fire extinguisher contains dry chemicals to smother the fire. A Class C fire involves energized electrical equipment. A Class C fire extinguisher contains an agent that is non-conductive, such as carbon dioxide. A Class D fire occurs when the fuel is a combustible metal. A Class D fire extinguisher contains dry powder to smother the fire. A Class K fire occurs when cooking oils and fats ignite, usually in commercial cooking areas such as restaurants and cafeterias. A Class K fire extinguisher contains a dry and/or wet chemical mixture, which forms a soapy foam to suppress the fire. Now it's time for the hot seat. Can you match the correct extinguisher to each class of fire? Awesome job, you fired!
How to use a fire extinguisher. In this short video, we'll cover how to properly use a fire extinguisher using the PASS method. Now, it's important to note that if a fire does occur in your workplace, that you follow these 3 important steps. Step 1. Once you've seen the fire, first grab the closest fire extinguisher, ensuring it's the correct type and class appropriate to extinguish the fire, and always make sure to keep your back to an unobstructed exit. If you do not think that you can put out the fire safely, make sure to evacuate the building. Step 2. Once you have your fire extinguisher, stand 6 to 8 feet away from the fire. Step 3. Follow the PASS 4-step procedure. First is P for pull. Pulling the pin unlocks the operating lever and allows you to discharge the extinguisher. Next is A for aim. Make sure to aim the extinguisher nozzle or hose at the base of the fire. The first S is squeeze. Squeeze the lever. This discharges the extinguishing agent. Releasing the lever will stop the discharge. The second S is for sweep. While discharging the extinguisher, start moving towards the fire. Keep the extinguisher aimed at the base of the fire and sweep back and forth until the flames appear to be out. Once the fire has been extinguished, make sure to watch the fire area. If the fire reignites, repeat the process. Always remember that smoke generated from the fire can be harmful and even fatal. Never attempt to extinguish a fire unless it is safe to do so. Now to recap the PASS 4-step procedure. P is for pull the pin. A is for aim the nozzle. The first S is for squeeze the lever. And the second S is for sweep.